Yo everybody, it's HarlequinCoHO here. How you doing? I'm doing rather well, and I just want to start this replay off by giving a big shout out to all of my new subscribers and to all the people who have been giving me feedback on the first couple of replays that I put up for you all. Really appreciate it. You guys have got some excellent feedback, and you know, call me out when I make stupid mistakes and when I make wrong analysis and that sort of stuff, because I really want to, you know, I want to keep tuning this and raising the bar and the level of quality replays that I can give back to you all. So along those lines, I had a lot of people saying that they wanted some more variety in these games and that they had other suggestions for players they'd like to see. So here's our very first one. This is a really fun game actually by AirTaylor, who I just looked him up. He's like rank 1, rank 2 airborne player on the ladder right now, versus his opponent, who's going to be nystromBLITZ, who is rank 1 Blitzkrieg player. So before things get started, let me just take a look, because I don't always give a good loadout on what kind of items people have and that sort of stuff. I'll get the game started here. We'll see their build orders right off the bat. But you can see that he's got health regeneration for his engineers. He's got minesweeper detection radius, which is going to be really important in this game, and he's got their capture speed. These are all pretty good engineer upgrades, except for the minesweeper detection, which is very clever, and I really like seeing how he uses it. Meanwhile, we'll take a quick look and see what we can tell you about Nystrom. I'll also look at the commander abilities before things get started too much. He does have a squad health increase for one of his army items. The other army items, I believe, benefit. I thought he had some infantry ones and some tank ones, but we'll take a look. He does have infantry pillage, he's got flares, he's got stormtroopers, rocket barrage, and the heavy armor support at 1150 cost. That's Nystrom's current layout here. Let me take a look back here at Taylor. First off, you'll see that Nystrom did have his field pioneers quickly build this Wehrmacht quarters right off the bat. So both players actually built their infantry buildings right away with their first guys and jumped back into them here. Meanwhile, we'll see that Taylor has got airdrop smoke, air reconnaissance, airborne paradrop, strafing run, and air supply drops. And we'll see pretty much all of those get used this game anyways. We got a little bit of chat here going on about our friend Stefan Haynes. It looks like both of them had recently played him. If you haven't seen any of his replays, I've got tons of his up here on this website too. But today we're taking a break and looking around at some other replays here. So let me take a look at the overlay and just give you an idea where people are going for starters. Again, in 1v1, I can't always see everybody on the map, but just kind of moving out into some standard capture procedures here. AirTaylor beginning with riflemen, and like I pointed out earlier, nystromBLITZ is starting with Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers. Katzenmeyer's can throw hand grenades and have a bunch of other pretty standard abilities. They are level 5 at the moment, and I'll just take a look. They have increased hit points, they've got increased sight radius, they have Panzerfaust, and more increased hit points. So good beefy unit to start off with. I compare them a lot to like Wilson's Riflemen or something like that for allied players out there. Looking around, pretty much just kind of capping around here. We've got some capping going on this side, some capping going on the right, and infantry is kind of moving out, getting good positioning going on. Again, you'll see that a lot of players, it's kind of a newbie thing to run right out and cap victory points right off the bat. It's pretty much unnecessary, and it's a lot more important just to get map control. You'll see that Nystrom started off with his motorcycle, and this motorcycle gets taken out the building all of a sudden. I don't know how that fire managed to get that perfectly there. Motorcycle has got some great micro, and you'll see him use this constantly throughout the replay. And let me just keep looking around here as we've got a little bit of skirmishing going on. I do love that AirTaylor is just kind of calling him on his bluff. It turns out that like one-on-one in close range, the motorcycle isn't that amazing against engineers. And if you call his bluff on it and just charge him, oftentimes you can do a lot of damage that is a pain for him to repair later on. Engineers, worth noticing, by the way, that they do in fact have those little small submachine gun, the little grease guns that they're using. He does not have the rifle upgrade for them, or the rifle army item for them, I should say. And let's take a look around here and see what else we got going on. The Field Pioneers, however, are out here capping, and pretty much Field Pioneers, for anyone who's not aware, they do just, basically they just have big cap bonuses and things like that. They can also construct buildings faster, they can heal, they can do a few other things like that. So they're useful kind of all-around engineers, or pioneers rather, to start the game off with. Just kind of moving around and reacting as necessary. You can see that they were able to kind of get the get the advance here on these engineers. They're going to have to retreat a little bit, but just kind of looking around for the moment to see what else we've got going on. So one thing that really impressed me about both these players' playstyle, here's the Fatherland HMG coming out right off the bat, is that they were both very conservative. And this is a bit of a departure from some of the games that I casted earlier, which is that they really do use a standard play, a huge variety of units, and they're nice and conservative. They don't do anything overly risky. They don't do anything overly abusive, more or less. Here we see the Riflemen are trying to get into a good flanking position against these Fatherland HMG team. So far they're successful, but thankfully the combination of motorcycle and HMG is enough to allow him to kind of position as he needs. You'll see he's got a great position now. The motorcycle had to tank that for a little bit, but now instantly retreating, which is a great move because it's always so easy for the Fatherland HMG team to get a bunch of kills right off the bat if you're not lucky or if you happen to be in open territory. Just to go over the Fatherland HMG, pretty much the bonuses that they get are all related to being in friendly territory. It's accuracy and hit point regeneration and things like that. They receive less damage, that sort of stuff. So really strong. They even have a much longer range. You can see him being smart, setting up his HMG team in his own territory, and this range is just going to be enough to suppress at great distance. A little bit of firefighting going on here between these infantry. The Rifleman definitely being suppressed, but AirTaylor is being smart. He's moving around to a flanking position. If you don't have something like fire up or hand grenades, this is pretty much the only way you can deal with machine guns early on, is just through positioning. And so anyone who ever tries a frontal assault on a machine gun has just got the wrong idea. But once again, you can see this really delicate control over his army. He's very aware of repositioning his HMG team, not running unnecessarily or anything like that, and just backing up with a combination of motorcycle and regular Volksgrenadiers whenever necessary. So, and looking pretty good here. We'll see that there's a little bit of capping going on this side. Regular Volksgrenadiers are kind of getting an advantage on these infantry, and they're just going to have to retreat right off the bat. So, if I didn't say it before, big shout out to AirTaylor, who was the player who submitted this replay to me, and for just kind of stepping up and saying, yeah, by the way, you need some better replays? Here we go. And he just hooked me right up right away. So super grats to him. If you see him hanging around on the forums and that sort of stuff, let him know. He's a great player. So, moving right along here. Look at this tight infantry formation by Nystrom. I'm really impressed by Nystrom's sort of like small unit organizational skills. Unfortunately, Taylor's got the right idea. He moves in to take this building, and he just takes so many casualties, and then the grenade goes off and just right in the window kills his whole squad at once. You can even see a little oops there, but just kind of was not expecting that amount of focus fire. And just these really tight unit formations and precise control over exactly where he's moving. I like seeing that. It's very, very good style of play. Again, each player has now finally capped their respective victory point in the corners, and this middle is still kind of the no man's land. Nobody's really dared to take the time to capture it. It's kind of an exposed position. It's kind of awkward. This hedgerow often invites attacks over it and things like that. And pretty good positioning of the Fatherland HMG team. He's just kind of moving up, advancing. It's a very defensive style of play because they're so much more effective in friendly territory. Meanwhile, our troops are just completely suppressed. That's one of the odd things about the German HMGs, is they tend to suppress over a very wide area and pin over a very wide area, and it's seemingly troops that aren't even in the range can take some damage here. This house and this house are very key buildings to occupy, kind of on mirror images of the map, and so you can see it's not a bad idea if he's got nothing else going on just to set up in that shop right there. Meanwhile, you can see the map is just kind of divided neatly down the center. Fatherland HMG team moving up, again being very conscious to stay within his own territory, and you can see this motorcycle still here providing support. Looks like he went ahead and activated pillage, which means that he's going to get basically he's going to get manpower and munitions whenever he kills enemy infantry. Looks like he was expecting to get some bigger kills right then, but good enough. Why not? Meanwhile, you'll see a little sneaky over the hedgerow grenade there. Luckily, AirTaylor saw that one coming and backed off, but Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers here being a little bit tricky. Oh, and here comes pillage now. You can see the pillage amounts floating up above those units' heads there. That's going to be active for a few more seconds, and now I think it's done. So anyhow, being sure to retreat, but really nice, solid, strong, just kind of steady pushing going on here for nystromBLITZ, and I just, again, I just really enjoyed this guy's style of play. Conservative and just really skilled, just very powerfully skilled player. Like I said, he's #1 currently. I just checked right now. He's currently #1 Blitzkrieg 1 versus 1 player on the ladder. So we'll see that. Let's take a quick look here. I kind of was ignoring AirTaylor's base. He went straight for a supply yard, straight for a motor pool. You can see he does not have any sort of Browning automatic rifle upgrades on his infantry. Flamethrower engineers coming in here, doing a great job of just kind of shooing away these extra infantry here. But this is really a very, very fast Greyhound armored car build, and you can see he had enough munitions saved up right off the bat to really pimp this thing out. He's got the armored skirts, and he's got the 50 caliber gunner in it. And I'm not sure if I've pointed this out yet, but we've been seeing these engineers with the minesweepers moving around very deliberately early game. And now that he's moving out here finally with his early Greyhound, he's just keeping an eye on where these mines are. You can see he actually has sight of these mines right now. They are visible. And he's really... this is kind of a theme throughout the entire game. He's very conscious about making sure he keeps minesweepers out in front of his important units whenever he goes into uncharted territory. And that is a very subtle sign of a really good player, because he knows he has the army item that increases his minesweeper detection radius by 50%, so pretty significant. And he's making sure to use it constantly, and even, you know, throughout late game we'll see these units constantly going around. Meanwhile, second Greyhound just come out. I'm going to go ahead and swap back to AirTaylor for a sec, sorry. And you can see he's getting the armored skirts right now. Probably when he gets munitions, he'll get another gunner. Meanwhile, just kind of pushing forward. Just, you know, like I said, very conservative play by all players here. Just kind of tanking a little bit of damage here from the machine gun crew, and just kind of trying to lay down some fire here where necessary. The slow rate of fire on the Greyhound's main cannon sometimes is a little bit disappointing, because if it just misses 2 or 3 times in a row, it seems kind of ineffective. But when it hits pretty hard. The engineers, meanwhile, are just kind of taking one for the team. They're going to have to back out of there for sure. And we do have one mine here, and hopefully he keeps track of it. You can see he's actually specifically targeting it. Boom! And there it goes. Rifleman just shooting away at that landmine there. Meanwhile, these Greyhounds are taking turns. Earlier, we saw there was a critical hit from the Puma that killed the gunner on here, and we've got Berger's Puma popping out, which basically is a beefed up version of a normal Puma. It does come automatically with the 50mm gun upgrade, which increases